Hey everybody, hope you've been doing well. Drew coming at you today from outside of the shed with a bit of photography, philosophy, I guess we could say. Still a bit of a ramble. But the past couple of weeks, I've really been trying to focus on ways that I can still focus on and improve my photography, especially when I can't take pictures or photographs the way that I want to, every day. At the beginning of the year, I really set myself with a goal of taking photography more seriously and really just kind of developing my style as a photographer. What do I really like to take pictures of? What sparks joy? What makes me happy? And in a perfect world, I would take pictures every day or plan trips to go on every weekend that would support that. But, life is life. One, I don't have the money to, plan crazy trips every week, let alone every month. And, some weekends, if my wife is off and I am both off, I'm going to prioritize spending time with her as opposed to, spending all day behind my camera screen and taking pictures, setting up little photo shoots to do of my dogs and myself. It's great if we can go somewhere. I definitely bring the camera along with me, right? But it's not the goal of that outing is really spending time with my wife. So what have I been doing that has really been, I think, beneficial to when I can go out and take pictures? So a little bit about me that you probably don't know, because I don't think I've said it on the channel yet, but my degree is in music. And when I really was focusing on, playing music and making music, if I wasn't practicing, I was usually listening to music. I was listening to trombonists that I liked, styles I would want to emulate and imitate and learn, and then put my spin on it. So one of the things I've really been focusing on over the past couple of months, but really the last couple of weeks, is studying other photographers, not by looking at their photos online. I mean, I definitely do to an extent, but actually with physical books where I can go out, look at it, and really just spend time. I know it kind of sounds weird, like touching grass, but looking at the photos, being able to rotate it, really look at it, I don't know. It's just different than at a camera screen, right? So this is a book I got from Barnes and Nobles called Accidentally Wes Anderson Postcards. And these are photos, right, inspired in the style of Wes Anderson. And I like this for two reasons. One, because it's done by different photographers. So it's just kind of nice to see how other people interpret him and their work there. But then when I'm done, I get to rip out the photo and then write a little postcard to a friend or a family member. And I think that is nice to do as well. But when I'm not doing stuff like this, I've also been looking at like a photographer a week. I try to, if it is online, or I'll go to the library and get a photography book, really identify photos that I like, and then look up that photographer. And I will try to emulate their style, see kind of what makes them them, and then take what I like about their photos and see if there's a way I can incorporate it into how I take pictures or my editing style or whatever it may be. And that's just really a nice way to be a bit more intentional and think about maybe my composition. Oh, hey, how does this person compose their photos? What type of lighting styles do they like? What colors do they like? What textures do they like? And it allows me to take a bit more of an intentional photograph, which I think has been great, right? If I only have 10, 20 minutes behind a camera, each picture I take is a bit more planned, a bit more inspired as well, and I think that's been really beneficial. On that note of looking at other people's photos, I've also been really into printing out my own. And I know printing photos can be expensive. There's a couple we've printed out that we put on my wall that is nice. But I've also been really big into using this cheap, I'll show it to you here, thermal printer that I got from Walmart that was like 20 bucks. And it prints, whoops, sorry about that, literally like on receipt paper here. That looks something like this. And what I do at the end of every week, give me one second, I'll show you, apologies, is I'm a big journal person. I like to write down what's been going on during the week, good days, bad days, and everything in between. I got calendars on here. But I also print off, see if I can find one here, one of the weeks, a photo of the week. So here's the one for this week that I liked. 1 week recently, there was a series of 3 photos that I really liked that I took of my dogs. I just printed off all 3 of those. But on the same note, how I think it's really nice to go out and look at other people's pictures, I really think there's a lot of merit to printing off your own photos as well. You know, when I go to my parents' house, or when I was younger, and I would go to my grandparents' house, they all had a photo book that was on a table or a banister somewhere, or in a room on a shelf, that whenever I went out there or over there, I would almost always go out and take out the photo book and just look through it. And I'd ask them, oh, hey, you know, what was this trip about? Tell me about this. Or this is just a nice photo. Maybe it's a memory that I have that my parents took from a trip when we were younger. And it is nice to reminisce about that. And I really think photography is meant to be shared. And if I now have this journal that I look at, you know, every week when I'm putting down a day, I may cycle through old weeks, I see the photos that I print with this, right? Nothing crazy, nothing high quality, but it's just a nice way to get me go back and looking at my photos. And I can still see the lighting in those images, of the contours, of the shapes, the story I was trying to tell. And I also have been getting into disposable cameras. Again, when I go on a trip, I will take that, my wife will use it, and we now print out those photos, and we have a photo book album that we keep on our coffee table. And we have friends over, you know what they do? They go out, they pick it up, and they look through it, and we talk about it. And that is just a nice way to get me thinking about photography as well. When I am down, you know, stairs, watching TV, I have something on, I may pick up that photo book. And then it's just a nice way for me to critique my photos, right? But also find the joy in why I like taking photos on there as well. So if you don't print your photos, I really think you should, right? Find a couple of photos you really like that you've taken, even if they were on your phone, get them printed off as a 4x6 and put them on your desk at work. Put them on your fridge, whatever it may be, so you see them throughout the day. Because when I see my photos, it inspires me to get out and take more photos when I have that ability to. And then the third thing I think has been really beneficial is I have been spending less time on social media, less time on my phone, less time looking at other photographers' work that are given to me via an algorithm. And I know that may sound kind of contradictory to what I said earlier, because I've been looking at more photographers and their work, but I've been doing it through not by this little dopamine, you know, dispensing a drug essentially on there. I find that there are a lot of great photographers on Instagram, on TikTok, on Facebook, on whatever it may be, but is photography really meant to be shared and looked at on this little screen here? You know, I'm not getting the full effect when I am looking at it here. I really find that if there is a photographer that I want to look at, go to their website, look at it on a laptop, a tablet, something bigger, a bit more immersive, if you will. And I find I have a much easier time studying their photos when it's bigger, right? I can see all of it easier. It's just a better way to interact with it, in my opinion. Now, it can be hard to spend less time on your cell phone. I am guilty of that myself. So please don't think that I am, you know, saying you shouldn't be on your phone. It's 2026. We all need cell phones. But some things I've done is I put time limits on Facebook, on Instagram, and on TikTok. And if I need to post, right, you know, to get people to see my pictures or share my stories, I'll do that via my laptop. If I want to look at other people's photography, I will go to their pages, I bookmark them, look at, you know, their prints, whatever it may be. And I just think it is a more, it has me spending more time looking at pictures. Because if I'm on Instagram, if I'm on TikTok, you see a photo, what do? You look at it for a second or two, but you're going to like it and you're going to swipe and look on the next one and the next and the next. And are you really spending the time you do that to look at the photo? Or are you doing the quick, oh, this is cool, great, heart it, on to the next one? That's at least what I was doing. Maybe, you're not me and you're spending more time looking at each photo. And if that's you, great. But I find I spend more time looking at photos, really dissecting them and studying them when they are not, coming from my cell phone, but they're coming from a laptop screen, a tablet screen, or once again, it's over here now, from some type of physical medium. So those are just, 3 things that I've found have been really beneficial to improving my photography the past couple of months when I can't get out and take photos every single day. If you're still here, hey, great. Thanks for, sticking around, listening to my photography philosophy ramble today. If you got something out of this, consider liking the video, subscribing to the channel. I'd just love to say I post regular photography related content. That's not true. I post when I can and I have the time. But yeah, thanks for sticking around, and let me know below what you do to improve your photography when you maybe can't get out and take photos as much or as often as you would like to. Have a good one, and I'll catch you next one. Peace out. Bye.